let's say Behavior hired me for a day and told me that I can do any changes I want for any character. Well, here is what I would do. And let's start with one of the characters that needs it the most, the Trapper. One of the things that surprised me about his power design is the fact that injured survivors do not have any penalty from stepping into a bear trap, so if someone far across the map steps into one, they can just exit it as if nothing happened. To remedy this, I want to incorporate Honing Stone as part of the base kit, and now anytime an injured survivor enters a bear trap, they will down themselves upon exiting it. However, if a teammate helps them escape, they get deep wounds instead. Deep wounds are also applied to any healthy survivor that steps out of a bear trap. As for the add-on, Honing Stone still works the same, allowing healthy survivors to go immediately to the down state. This is a change that I feel is completely in line with the devs' design philosophy for the Trapper, as they have stated in the past that they are happy with his performance, and also since he is the Mario of DbD, they don't want to incorporate any crazy mechanics to his power. For the Wraith, my change would be pretty simple. Make it so that Wraith can pick up survivors while cloaked, as this is already something he can do when finding survivors inside a locker while cloaked. This would work the same way Legion does, as they can pick up survivors while in Feral Frenzy. Hillbilly, just like Wraith, is another character that I feel is perfected, and the only changes I would make to him is rework some of his low rarity add-ons because they are horrible, and bring back Skybilly, as I think that's an iconic part of the game's history, and some of the best mechanics in video games are thanks to glitches. The nurse, on the other hand, is very problematic, and one of her biggest issues is that she is very problematic with aura reading perks, as it completely removes any small counterplay survivors had, and this is something that the new Predator perk proved. A solution I have seen a lot that would nerf her a bit is to make it so that anytime she charges a blink, the nurse gets the blindness status effect. This is a very similar solution to how they made her attacks count as special, removing her synergy with exposed perks, but this time she will no longer be overpowered with aura reading perks. However, let's think about this for a second. With basic attack perks not working on her, and now aura reading perks being suboptimal, the only perks left would be gen regression perks. Do we really want nurse players to double down on the best builds killers can use? Her design is just a mess, and honestly I am not qualified enough to fix her. I have already made an entire video explaining every single change I would make for the shape, which you can check out with the link on top. However, if you want a quick summary, make Myers able to go back to Evil Within 1, remove the stock limit, remove the range limit, allow Myers to go to tier T with a toggle just like the Oni can, and incorporate Tombstone base kit for survivors that give way too much stock to Myers as a punishment for playing poorly. Now I have to admit that I am not a big fan of the hack, so this change might come with some bias, but I still think that I find it crazy how you can just place all of her traps around a hook survivor with no range limit. In a game where the artist can't even summon crows next to a hook, having a setup killer be able to camp so efficiently is crazy. So add a range limit to hook survivors and automatically break any traps near hook survivors, just like how Unknown and Scully's power is deleted near one. The Doctor is the first character that I think I wouldn't change anything, including his add-ons, because they are all decent and he is pretty okay after the base kit buffs. Maybe make it so that if a survivor comes close to a Doctor's illusion, the illusion attacks the survivor before disappearing, just to add a scary flair to this character. Huntress has always been one of my favorite killers, and I think she is well designed too. My only complaints are her iridescent add-ons. I would rework Iridescent Head to be similar to the Deathslinger's coin add-on, and now any hits from far away will instantly down survivors to reward snipes. For Soldier's Putty, if they want to keep the same design of making her faster without hatchets, give her more than 5% and go the crazy route just like they did with the hack's waterlogged shoe. Leatherface needs some add-ons changed, as honestly he has some pretty boring ones, like Long Guide Bar and the Grease, which are completely useless. I think an add-on that gives Leatherface the undetectable status effect anytime he enters Tantrum would be cool. Another idea could be to make it so that colliding with a generator with your chainsaw will start regressing it, so you can use this tactically to regress generators without spending Pop Goes the Whistle or applying machine learning to it, or to force survivors off the generators when they attempt to finish them before going down. Freddy needs a complete rework, as the devs have said. However, if they keep his style as is right now, I would reduce the cooldown of his teleport, remove the global sound anytime he uses it, allow Freddy to play snares through loops like he could that one time he was bugged, and give him a toggle which allows Freddy to also put dream pallets without the use of an add-on. I think those changes will bring Freddy out of the D tier category at the very least. For the pig, my change is not related to balance. Out of all the licensed killers in the game, she is the only one that still gets new cosmetics to this day. So please behavior, give her a chase theme. Imagine how epic it would be to have the iconic Saw theme play while you are close to dying to a reverse bear trap. I think the clown is close to perfection, even if he's not considered a top tier killer. The only change I would make is maybe give him an action speed boost to breaking pallets and walls anytime he is invigorated, just to help the clown when survivors pre-drop god pallets. Spirit is a complete accessibility nightmare for both sides. In my opinion, since you can hear the spirits facing either way, just make it visual, just like how sounds are visual in Fortnite with a toggle. There is nothing a survivor can do with this information that you couldn't do before, just like with the visual heartbeat indicator. And for the killer side, first of all, fix all the audio issues she has. There is currently one that is very annoying that makes her husk very loud, and also it's really hard to hear the sounds of survivors while phasing. This would require a complete rework of the sound system in the game, but there are so many issues with it that I think it's necessary. For the Legion, I would make the developers watch Tatariu's Legion changes so they could implement them all into the game. The only thing I remember is making blood pools visible during Frenzy. The Plague and the various other killers that I will mention in the future have an issue with the spawn of their powers. I find it crazy how you have to use the cut coin offering in order to make some of her fountains better. In my opinion, her fountains need to have priority over any chest spawn in the game, instead of the reverse. This will make her better to play, especially on the swamp. Ghostface's biggest problem that many players will agree on is that his reveal mechanic is kinda broken. On a technical level, I assume it's very hard to fix, because if it was easy it would already be fixed, but that's the only thing that I would change. If you played with the Demogorgon, there is a high chance that you accidentally cancel the shred by attacking early. Well, my first change is to make it so that you can't do this anymore, because it's really annoying, and this is something they did to the Plague in the past, so I know it's possible. As a secondary thing, please remove the invisible collisions found around the map, like in Ormond. It's very immersion breaking to just fall straight to the ground because of an invisible wall that prevents you from shredding. The Oni's base kit is perfect, and I would not change anything about him. His add-ons, however, are a problem. The majority of them suck, but those that don't are extremely good, like his purple add-ons. So just nerfing the strong ones to make Oni more fair, and buffing or reworking the low gravity ones so they are at least usable to give Oni build variety. I think his iridescent add-ons are quite nice for meme builds, so I wouldn't change those. Deathslinger has a huge issue that I might make a video on to bring more awareness to it, so if you're enjoying this vid, please let me know by liking it and maybe subscribing if you're so kind. The big issue with Slinger is that all of his rifle cosmetics are worse than the default, and this is especially seen on the new Blighted outfit. So all I would ask behavior is to completely rework all of the rifle cosmetics so they are not bad to use, starting with the Iron Maiden one, because you cannot change the rifle on that skin and it's really bad. Pyramid Head needs an add-on pass, as his add-ons are some of the most boring out of everyone in the cast. I think he needs some crazy effects to his add-ons, with one of my favorites being that his punishment attack has shorter range, but the attack divides on the tip, making a T shape. I would personally rework every single add-on because a lot of them are trash. After the Blight changes, I think he's in a pretty good spot. The twins have a lot of issues, but by far the most needed one is to fix all the problematic bugs they have, which is something you will find while playing here. Trickster is a character that many survivors hate playing against, and a lot of their mains hate the rework they did to him, so honestly I don't know what I would do besides just listening to the suggestions of the Trickster mains, even though I personally think that he is just a very badly designed character. After the recent buffs, he still has two issues. The first one is that the vast majority of his add-ons absolutely suck, so a rework to them is something I would be very happy with, and add a new mechanic for Nemesis to be able to call zombies to a specific part of the map, just to give him some capability over his own zombies in case they get stuck around the environment or they are patrolling very useless spots. For the Cenobite, I want to be very kind for console players, because the amount of free hits I got because of it is just unfair. Make the button for breaking chains separate from the one to interact with pallets. As a compensation for this legitimate nerf, I hate the fact that Pinhead can break his own chains, and I think his anti-loop would be significantly better if they finally remove that mechanic. This might be a hot take, but I don't like how survivors can just enter a locker to instantly remove the crow swarm. The only thing this does is completely counter the artist's power to snipe, which can be countered either way just by playing well. It's just an annoying mechanic. Sadako is another killer just like the Plague that would benefit a lot from a better power spawn mechanic, as sometimes her TV spawn very far away from a generator or on a completely different floor. Besides that, the only thing I would change is fix her intermittent invisibility from manifesting and also buff it so that she can have a bit of anti-loop base kit like she does with Reiko's watch. After the amazing buffs Dredge received, I think its only problem is locker RNG, as some maps are absolutely horrible, which makes its map pressure worse. By adding more lockers around the map, it's a buff to both its map pressure, a buff to various perks related to lockers, and a buff to Huntress and the Trickster. Wesker is an absolutely well-made killer, and I am very happy with how he works and how he performs. My only change was to make it so that once hooked, the infection rate is reduced back to 1, which is exactly what they did, so overall, he is perfect. Just like with the twins, the Knight needs a severe amount of attention just to fix all of the bugs that are plaguing him, like the footsteps while pathing with the orb, the ability to stun him while he's deploying a guard, the fact that he can literally pick up survivors while in the orb form. There are many more glitches with him, so please just fix them all. Honestly, it's better that I just stay quiet about the school merchant. Singularity, on the other hand, is perfectly designed in my opinion. All the changes I said at the end of my video talking about him were implemented base kit, so I am more than happy. He is now one of my favorite killers to play as. Xenomorph is the last killer that would benefit from the power spawn locations, because sometimes the tunnels spawn so far away from a gen that you just give survivors plenty of distance to just hold W. However, another thing I would love to do is rework its add-ons, because the vast majority of them suck, and everyone just uses the ones to counter the flame turrets. In my opinion, something that is lacking from the Xenomorph is an add-on that completely removes the beeping sound of the turrets just to allow this iconic alien the ability to play with stealth builds. Chucky is another killer that I find is pretty great. The only change I would do is nerf Rat Poison, because this add-on is absurdly broken on an already easy character to play as. I am not kidding when I say this add-on is easily the top 10 strongest add-on in the entire game currently live, and the difference it makes is a lot. It completely removes survivor counterplay, gives Chucky a tracking power, all of that just for the price of one green add-on. It's way too much, to the point that I stopped using it because I genuinely believe that this is going to get nerfed soon. The Unknown is by far my favorite killer to play as, and honestly its base kit is almost perfect. However, just like some of the other killers, I find its add-ons to be quite boring. There isn't much choice that completely changes the way it's played, and honestly I would love to have a massive buff to the majority of its add-ons just so they are worth to run. Vecna is another killer that I think is almost perfect base kit, however, his cooldown add-on is by far the best choice you can do, so in my opinion, they should add it partially base kit and completely remove it from the game just to promote Vecna players to use something else besides the cooldown add-on. It's just objectively the best choice in all situations and all builds. And finally, for the Dark Lord, I think that overall he is pretty okay. However, an issue I have is that the orb scent seems to be bugged and they don't show you the location of survivors correctly. So I would fix this so you can use the wolf to track the location of survivors with the scents. And that's all. What do you think of these suggestions? Let me know in the comments, and also let me know what you would do if you could. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.